Hi, and welcome to the Jack Daniel Podcast.
Okay, hi everybody. Today, me and my friend Daniel, we're gonna talk about health and nutrition. And first, let's talk about health and how to be healthy. Let's do that, Daniel.
Now we're going to talk about the social part of health. So we have to be able to measure uh, our ability to adapt to certain situations. There's also emotional involvement with each relationship that we got into. We also have to understand that we are part of a community and that we understand that we are loved by some people. Yeah.
Now, Jacob, talking about the physiological and the physical activities that we can do or aspect of a healthy human being.
Okay, so first, for the physical and physiological concept, we need to be free from disease. There are also four concepts to this. There's the anthropometry, which is the body weight, and we need to have a BMI of 18.5 to 24.9 to be healthy or normal. After there's the biochemical, so we need to test for clinical organs by the doctor, and there's also the clinical concept, which is physical examination by the doctor, and then there's the diet, which is the quantity and the quality of food that we eat every day. The last component of health is being mentally healthy. So, in order to be mentally healthy, we need to realize our own potential. We need to cope with stress every day, contribute to community, and work productively without being afraid of certain situations. After finishing with our health, we're gonna go to the body. So, Daniel, are you ready to explore your body?
Of course I am. Whenever
Alright,
you're ready.
let's do this. Okay, so now we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about the tissue. So to create the tissue,
The tissues.
so now to have a tissue, we need to have cells of same types to work the same purpose to have a tissue. And there's four of them. The first one is epithelial. Second one is connective. The third one, muscle. And the fourth one, nervous. So now that we talked about the different tissue, we're gonna talk about the organs. But how does the organs function? We need two or more tissue to combine to form an organ. The first organ we're gonna talk about is the digestive. Digestive is the food processor. There's the gastrointestinal tube, which is 25 to 30 feet. And there's also the the mouth, which is the tongue, who taste the food. We have this sweet, sour, bitter, salt, and umami. Umami. The next organ we have the endocrine organ, which produce and secrete hormones. It regulates growth and the metabolism, and it's also the sexual development. After we have the integumentary organ, which regulates temperature and prevents water loss. After we have the skeletal organ, which allows body movement and blood cells. Okay. After we have the cardiovascular organ, which is transport nutrients, and it's the immune response from the body. After there's the lymphatic organ, which removes foreign substances from blood. After we have the respiratory organ, which we exchange gases between the air and blood. After there's urinary organs, which removes waste products from our body. And there's at the end the reproductive organ, which is what we use for reproduction and baby.
Okay, so for the first framework, got healthy lifestyle. So the first is physical exercise. Then we got emotional, how to deal with people and emotions. Then we got social, when we support relationships. Then we got intellectual, when our brain is active. Then we got environmental, anything that influence our environment. Then we got financial, when we manage money and budgets. We got occupational, when there's the work-life balance. And lastly, there is the spiritual, where we respect values and beliefs.
So now we're gonna talk about the second framework. So we're gonna start by the second framework is about holistic approach to health. So we want to eat healthy. Daniel, stop with the chips. After we want to have by eating well, we need enough energy to maintain a healthy body. We need to have a variety in food, and we need to eat a lot of wholesome foods, mainly plant-based, and some animal products. Secondly, we need to be active. After, we need to sleep well, and lastly, we need to be mindful.
So the third framework is only physical and physiological. We have to eat well. Then we got to learn how to be active. After, we have to manage stress and cope with it. And lastly, we had to avoid harmful substances like vape.
So now we're at the fitness part of being healthy. So there's four components of fitness. The first one is cardiorespiratory strength. We need to absorb and use oxygen efficiently. Can you stop? So like I said, we need to absorb and use oxygen efficiently by maintaining our heart rate about 60 to 79% of our maximum heart rate. We need to do it 5 times of 30 minutes each week. Now for the second part of fitness, we have the muscular endurance. Sorry? Get up. Muscular endurance is about contractions against moderate resistance. We need to have 80% of our maximum heart rate, and all major muscles must be used twice a week. So the third component is muscular strength. It's about force effectiveness. We need to use 80% of our maximum heart rate. It needs to be short with some rest twice a week. Okay. The fourth component is flexibility. There's two types of flexibility. There's the static and there's the dynamic. So first, the static, it needs to be slowly lengthening or muscles, and then for 30 seconds we need to do it daily, every day, and after exercises. There's also dynamic flexibility. We need to do the same movement as static, but we don't hold the movement. So flexibility helps prevent muscle fatigue. In conclusion, I just want to add some info. We need to calculate our maximum heart rate. We do 220 minus our age, and we should at least do 10 hours of activities throughout the week. So now we're at the last components of health and nutrition, which is the diet. So food is categorized in 3 whole different categories, which is plant-based. We have vegetables, starchy vegetables, legumes, fruits, nuts and seeds, oil, spice, grains, whole grains, herbs and sugar. With each of these types of food, we need to have a variety in it, and some different types of grain, for example, or different types of color of vegetables. After, we have the animal-based food, which is meat, milk, egg and fat, and cream and butter. So now we're at the part where we're going to talk about nutrients. So in food, there's chemicals that are nutrients and non-nutrients chemical. So we're going to talk about the nutrients chemicals, which gives us calories. We should have between 1,500 to 2,500 calories for each person per day. In nutrients, there's the energy nutrients and non-energy nutrients. So the non-energy nutrients are vitamins, minerals, and water. Water, we should have 1.5 liter of water per day. After there's the energy nutrients, there's the carbohydrates, which is 45 to 65% of our energy. There's the proteins with that there's 3 groups of amino acids. We should have 0.8 to 1.5 gram of proteins per kilogram of body weight. And there's the lipids that we should have 20 to 35% of energy in our day. So we're gonna end here, folks. We're gonna see you next week at the Jack Daniels podcast.
See you.
See you later.